The meeting will please come to order. Good evening, everyone. My name is Congo, President of Wilmington City Council. Today is Thursday, August the 22nd. On behalf of all of my colleagues, I'd like to thank everyone who has joined us in council chambers and also those who are with us virtually. And just as a public note for anyone who would like to give public comment who is virtual, there is a Google form sign-up link in our chat. Please make sure that you sign in if you would like to give public comment. And for those of you who are in council chambers, if you're not already signed up for public comment, but you do want to speak, please make sure that you sign up. At this time, we'll have opening prayer by Artrielle Granado.
Heavenly Father, we have assembled to handle the affairs of our city. As we do so, we ask for your guidance and understanding. We pray that our city reaches a place of peace and safety. Keep us out of harm's way and bless those who are in authority. Let respect be key in all our endeavors. Amen.
Amen. At this time, we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman White,
Present.
Councilwoman Darby, Councilwoman Oliver, Councilwoman Harlee,
Present.
Councilwoman Fields,
Present.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Here.
Councilman Johnson, Councilman Field,
Present.
Councilwoman Cabrera, Councilman Mills, Councilman Spadola,
Present.
Councilwoman Bracy,
Present.
President Congo.
Here.
8 present and 5 absent.
At this time, we will have the reading of the minutes from our previous meeting.
July 11, 2024, City Council met in regular session with remote participation, the above date at 6:30 p.m. President Ernest M. Congo II presiding. The opening prayer was done by Artrielle Granado, Deputy City Clerk. The Pledge of Allegiance was recited by City Council.
Mr. President, I move the minutes be accepted as written.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. The minutes be accepted as written on the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We will now have our city treasurer's report.
August 22nd, 2024, total investment, $512,232,283.22. Total cash on hand, $16,505,349.61. Grand total, $528,837,632.83. Submitted by Dwayne Sims, City Treasurer.
I move the treasurer's report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. The report be received, recorded, and filed on the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. I'd like to recognize Councilmember Maria Cabrera, who has joined us virtually.
So noted.
Thank you.
I'll accept a motion to move to accept all non-legislative business.
So moved. Second.
It's been properly
Second.
moved and second to accept all non-legislative business on the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. At this time, we do have at least one in-person recognition. I'd like to call Councilmember Harlee forward, please.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. At this time, I'm going to ask Desiree Harris and family to please come to the podium at this time. And I just want to say before I read the resolution that Desiree, is truly an outstanding young lady who attends Bancroft Middle School, which is now Maurice Pritchard Senior Academy. And before I read the resolution, I just want to say that she has done outstanding in her last school year. She was able to obtain many awards of excellence. And to name a few, I just will read the first one and then share the other topics that she received an award of excellence for. The Pritchard Award of Excellence. This award is presented to Desiree Harris for exemplifying excellence in academics, extracurricular activities, and attitude. For outstanding academics in the area of science. For outstanding academics in the area of English language arts. For outstanding academics in the area of math. Outstanding academics in the area of social studies. So I just wanted to kick it off by underscoring all these different awards that Desiree received before even presenting to her this recognition of honor. And I just want to say to you, Desiree, that your councilwoman, city council, your family, and friends and neighbors that are here to support you and to congratulate you, we want you to know that we are very proud of you. And when we look at all these outstanding achievements that you were able to obtain, it says a lot about you being focused, a lot about you being sincere about your studies and taking it serious. And I have no doubt that you are going to continue to soar and that you're going to continue to do an excellent job as you matriculate through your last year in high school. And I know that the scholarships are going to be rolling in. So I just wanted to let you know that we're very proud of you. Yes. Sponsor, Council Member Michelle Harlee. It is the sense of the City Council to honor individuals and organizations who have demonstrated outstanding achievement and are deserving of recognition and acknowledgement. Councilmember Michelle Harlee would like to recognize Desiree Harris, 2024 Valedictorian of the Maurice Pritchard Senior Academy Middle School as one such individual. Whereas during Desiree's 2 years at Bancroft, they switching up, she has exemplified excellence in all of her endeavor and embodies the qualities of a true leader and role model. Her unwavering dedication in her studies, her impeccable attendance, and her heartfelt commitment to community service have set her apart as one of Bancroft's brightest graduates. Desiree has distinguished herself academically by consistently going over and beyond her intellectual curiosity, combined with her strong work ethic, has enabled her to excel in a wide range of subjects. Her impeccable grades bear testament to her enthusiasm for learning, her ability to grasp complex concepts, her diligence, perseverance, and passion for education. In addition to academic achievements, Desiree keeps a very busy schedule. She plays on the band's drumline, is a member of the track team, and is skilled as a playwright. She is also a member of the Bancroft News Network, where she makes morning announcements. Desiree is the recipient of several awards, including awards in science, social studies, as well as English language arts, writing, and math awards from the state of Delaware. Whereas Desiree is always punctual and has rarely missed a day of school. She is compassionate and empathetic, which is evident in her volunteer work, where she is equally dedicated to helping those in need. This council applauds Desiree for her extraordinary academic performance, engagement in extracurricular activities, and service to the community. May she continue to make significant contributions in whatever career path she chooses. Now, therefore, Desiree, be it resolved by the council of the city of Wilmington that this council is pleased, very pleased, I'll say, to recognize Desiree Harris, valedictorian of the Bancroft School Class of 2024. And we want you to know that we wish you continued success in your future endeavors. And we say collectively, Desiree, job well done. Job well done. So at this time, Desiree, I'm going to have you to come up and share some remarks.
Hello. I just want to say thank you for this opportunity and for the support from my family, teachers, Miss Harlee. And yeah, I really appreciate this, and I will continue to make you proud in the future.
All right.
Mr. President?
Councilmember Fields.
Yes. Desiree, I was sitting here and I was getting chills just hearing all your accolades. So just doing this in middle school, you're in middle school. You're about to go to high school. Could you, I'm like sitting here and I see you even excelling in high school, probably finishing early. And so I just, you're covered, you stay faithful, trust in him, and you will succeed. And so when you succeed, don't forget Councilwoman Brigida Fields, okay? And when you get that pool in your backyard, call me, because I want to go swim. 'Cause you are going to make it further than your dreams, further than you could even dream. So congratulations again, baby.
Yes, I would also like to congratulate you, Desiree, and to thank your support system.
Yeah.
You have teachers that are here, your family, and your parents are up there with you. So I know they are extremely proud of you, and you know that doesn't happen. I know you're a very intelligent young lady, but it doesn't happen usually in a vacuum. So that just want to make sure that we are also acknowledging your support system, and I'm sure that they will always be there for you. So continue to lean on them. And just keep yourself surrounded around positive kids your age. Congratulations.
Mr. President,
Yes, Councilmember Oliver.
no, I too would just like to say congratulations and keep up the good work. I know your mom too. How you doing? Okay.
Councilmember McCoy.
Yes, Mr. President. Has Ms. Harris gotten a chance to get into the fancy ride and get driven all over town? Is that something that you're still doing?
Yes, we do. So,
Okay.
yeah, she's-
Make certain that you connect with the president, Congo.
okay. I'd like to recognize Councilmembers Oliver and Darby.
So noted.
All right, thank you. This time I'm going to call Councilmember Oliver, please.
Yes, I'd like to call up, I said Councilwoman, but she might as well be. I'd like to call Deneen Mcmanus, and anybody here, her friend, anybody here that support Deneen, please come up. I'd like to say something before I get started with the resolution. Deneen is my real hairdresser. She's the one who really, I mean, I have acknowledged some young ladies and who do good, who have done my hair, but you can tell Deneen didn't do this. But when she does my hair, she does my hair. So that's why I put when you see the good pictures, Deneen's done my hair. And she's been busy, she's been out of town, so I've been, going to my other people who are really good. I have to give credit where credit's due. Deneen is not just a hairstylist. She really is like whatever they call karate kicker and all that, down there with the riverfront with, what's his name? if you can work with Kenny, you could work with anybody. I went in there for like 10 minutes one time. I was like, this ain't for me. With that being said, I'd like to, the sponsor is Councilwoman Xanthia Oliver, along with the whole city council. Whereas it's the Census City Council to honor individuals and organizations who have demonstrated outstanding achievements and deserve recognitions and acknowledgement. Councilman Xanthia Oliver would like to honor Deneen Mcmanus as one such individual. Deneen spent her childhood in Wilmington, Delaware, a graduate of Howard Career Center. Thereafter, she joined the United States Air Force, where she served her country for 10 years. Over the last 25 years, Deneen has been a reputable hairstylist in Wilmington on the east side and the north side area. She is currently the manager of prevention of HIV testing for AIDS of Delaware. And whereas Deneen is a mother of 3 beautiful daughters and doting grandmother of 3 beautiful grandchildren, in addition to her salon, she is very involved in her community service work, which includes awareness of testing of HIV in some of the high-risk areas in Wilmington. You can see Deneen on the west side, you see Deneen on the north side, as well as the east side. Deneen has done her coursework in behavioral health in Wilmington University, and she is certified as a community health worker and peer recovery specialist. She also holds an HIV PrEP certification, navigation certificate, and also a certified Chemobi check HIV blood drawn tester. Deneen is always present in the community at community events, barbershops, hair salon. She is one of the ones that worked with Frank Nitti that started the barbershop talk, where she is. When she can be found managing prevention, all different types of prevention stations, passing out literature, HIV, and AIDS prevention. She also teaches HIV 101, a prevention course designed for middle and high school students. Now there be it resolved by the City Council of Wilmington that this council is pleased to recognize Deneen Mcmanus for her caring spirit, passion for serving the citizens of Wilmington, Delaware. Job well done.
Thank you so much. I just want to thank everyone here at the City Council for recognizing me, and Cynthia Oliver. It was such a surprise because I didn't know they was calling the wrong number for a minute. I wasn't answering it because I didn't know the number, but at the same time, it was because I was busy in the community. Most of the time, that's where I spend most of my time. I'm always at an event. Miss Fields, I done seen you a couple of times.
I know. Thank you for coming on the west side.
Yeah, thank you. But I'm going to continue to do what I do because I love my job. I love being part of just being able to help where I'm needed. Thank you.
So if any council members would like her to come in your district, you could feel free to get her information because she goes around to various areas. She's probably been in your district and you just didn't even know it because she goes to all the beauty salons and barbershop. She's really good at what she does. Thank you, Deneen. I appreciate it. God bless. Thank you.
We got a camera. Got you. We got it.
And just wanted to mention other recognitions from all of council. There is a recognition for Wilmington Fire Department Deputy Chief Gabriel Pabon. I have submitted a sympathy resolution for Ms. Adalyn Jennive Pretlow from Councilmember Johnson. Sympathy resolutions for Franklin Robinson, Robert Moser, and Franklin Moon from Councilmember Spadola. A sympathy resolution for Rebecca Thompson Cohen, and from Councilmember Oliver. Sympathy resolutions for Artrielle C. Tann, Ava Maxine Jackson, Mozella Lucas White, Kevin D. Harris Jr., Carl Lally Sr., Wendell Washington Dale, King Solomon Beavers Sr., Hunter M. Williams, and Tracy C. Noel. At this time, we will also like to recognize, like to acknowledge that recognition from Council Member Brigida Fields will happen at a later date, where she is going to recognize the Wilmington Police Department's Community Engagement Unit. At this time, we will move to public comment. Again, as a friendly reminder, there is a Google Form sign-up link in the chat for anyone who is virtual. Once you are called, you will have 3 minutes to give public comment. When you have around 30 seconds left, I will give you a friendly reminder. For those of you who are in council chambers, once you come forward, please remember to introduce yourself, as well as those who are virtual. For those who are in council chambers, please be careful when you step up to the podium. And again, also when you have around 30 seconds left out of your 3 minutes, I will give you a friendly reminder. First, we have Donald Farrell. And thank you for joining us, and please remember to introduce yourself and be careful when you step to the podium.
Hello, everyone. I am Don Farrell, and I live in the 3rd District. I'm here speaking today to support the resolution 0463 to censor Mr. Oliver. I implore and encourage you to do so as well. If you don't, then you are complicit and condone this behavior. An example, when a police officer violates a person's civil rights, usually other officers come to their defense. They refuse and are reluctant to speak up and hold that officer accountable, all because of the thin blue line. Violating the public trust can tarnish the reputation and credibility of the entire agency. Now, the circumstances that precipitated this resolution are no different. What color is the line in this council? Will you circle the wagons to protect one of your own, risking the credibility and reputation of the entire council? Now, I realize that Mr. Johnson's proposed ordinance to provide consequences is on the docket. However, it doesn't address the behavior. Ms. Darby's resolution does. After 8 years on council and taking numerous training courses, promises to do better ring hollow. A message needs to be sent that this ongoing pattern of irresponsible behavior and ethical violations will not be tolerated. Forgiving and not holding the violator accountable will be viewed as an ethical lapse on your part. Unethical behavior in one area bleeds over and gives license to commit other ethical violations. Using one's office for personal gain is illegal and unethical. Acquiring or being gifted a second residence in your district for $10 that is worth approximately $250,000 is illegal and unethical.
You have 30 seconds.
So to add insult to injury, using that same residence to register and be able to cast an additional vote is not right. I urge you to do the right thing and support this resolution to censor. I thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Deacon Earl E. Tate. And thank you, Deacon Tate, for joining us. Please be careful when you reach the podium, and please remember to introduce yourself. I will give you a friendly reminder when you have 30 seconds left.
Greetings. My name is Deacon Earl E. Tate II, and I'm here to represent the people. listen, this is very serious, which we are into now, because we have a serious election coming up, and it's time for us to get up off our seats and get registered to vote and vote, because every vote counts. Every vote counts, no matter who you are. If you don't vote, you have no say-so of what goes on in America. You have to get off your seat and get out here and do something. Do your duty and do your honor, because we have the youth looking up to us. So we got to do it, and do it right, and do it now. Because if we don't do it right and do it now, who do our kids have to look up to? Who do they have to say, I want to be like him, I want to be like her? Or so we got to make this stand and make it now, because now is the time. Tomorrow is gone. Now is the time. So people, wake up, everybody. Open your eyes, open your ears, and get out and do what you're supposed to do, because our youth are counting on it. And I want to say this, like I say in my poem, think. He who thinketh negatively hath defeated himself even before he begun. But he who thinketh positively with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding can claim the victory by faith, and is all setting forth new goals and climbing higher heights that life holds no limit to it. So not only do you think, but you got to do what your mind tells you to. Have a nice holiday, everybody. A nice holiday this Labor Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Carmina Taylor, thank you for joining us, and please be careful once you reach the podium. And also, please introduce yourself before you begin speaking. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm back again. My name is Carmina Taylor. I do drug and alcohol prevention throughout the state for the kids department, but this summer I have specifically been in Wilmington with all the summer programs, and there was something that happened yesterday that made me compelled to come here today. So I had 3 workshops yesterday, and the age groups were from 6 to 17. And in my first workshop, there was a 7-year-old boy, because we were talking about good choices, bad choices. Have they ever been exposed to edibles? And the 7-year-old said, and he's a Wilmington resident, he said that his parents gave him edibles at 5 years old, and he got very sick and had to go to the emergency room. Then a 7-year-old asked me, is drinking beer with your dad worse than taking drugs? And then a 17-year-old said that he had been doing edibles and vaping and smoking weed since he was 10 years old. He was in the same room as some of these younger kids, and he said he felt good, and even though he's had periodic episodes, he still does it. I'm here as an ally to all of you to implore you again to find solutions and work with your partners that are in the field with these families. I think there has to be a concerted effort to educate parents, to educate community leaders, and work together. This is a crisis. One of the reasons why I do this work is because now Delaware has improved. At 2 years ago, Delaware was the second state in the country with the highest per capita opioid fatalities. We're now number 4. but in the city, it's much worse in terms of exposure. I had educated around 136 kids yesterday, and each session, about 70 to 80% of the kids openly admitted to doing edibles. All these kids were under 18, and all these kids were under 21. It is illegal for them. I know that your state is going to regulate recreational weed, but there has to be some guidelines. And I just, again, I felt bad coming up here because there were so many positive acknowledgments of your city residents, but we have to also look at the fact that there's access and exposure to your young people. And the last time I was here, there was a talk about the police department, and now I'm hearing that the community engagement piece is going to be acknowledged. I think there
You have 30 seconds.
Yes, sorry. I just think that there has to be a collective effort to bring everybody to the table to address this problem. And when a 5-year-old is taking edibles from his parents, that's a crisis. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Taylor, did you want to leave us your contact information? You don't have to, but if you wanted to write it down just in case any council members wanted to reach out to you.
Where should I leave
It's right here. Thank you. Next virtually, we have Keandra McDowell.
Yes, good evening. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for joining us, and please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Keandra McDowell. I am speaking on behalf of the many communities throughout the city of Wilmington. Tomorrow from 6 to 8 p.m., we were supposed to have an event that is titled Justice for All. The location was supposed to be at the Urban Artists Exchange, the Delaware Center for Justice, as well as Hanif Salam and a few other very important organizations throughout the city have partnered to have this event. We have families who are getting, who are flying in from different states, as far as Breonna Taylor's family was supposed to be here tomorrow, and as well as Jacob Blake Sr.'s family. The event had to be canceled at this location for matters of Wilmington police not wanting us to have the event there because they was concerned with people sharing their flyers, speaking about that it was supposed to be a rally, which that was not the case at all. So I am here today deeply concerned about recent events that have struck at the very core of our democracy, the violation of our First Amendment rights. Twice in the last 13 months, members of our community have been prohibited from holding scheduled events solely because of the content of their discussions, which focus on critical issues like police reform, which is justice for all. This is unacceptable. The First Amendment guarantees every citizen the right to free speech and peaceful assembly, regardless of the topics being discussed. When that right is being infringed upon, it not only undermines our democratic values, but also sows distrust in our local government. I ask this council to provide a clear and transparent explanation for these actions. Why were these events prohibited? On what grounds were community members silenced? And most importantly, how does the council plan to ensure that such violations do not occur again? It is imperative that our city remains a place where all voices can be heard, especially on matters as vital as police reform and justice. Silence in these discussions only deepens and divides between our government and the people that it's supposed to serve. I urge this council to reaffirm its commitment to protecting our constitutional rights, to foster an environment where difficult conversations can be held without fear of the opposite side.
You have
and
30
to
seconds.
stand with the community in pursuit of justice and reform for everyone. I don't understand why every time an event like this is put together, why we have to reach out to outside entities of the city of Wilmington to hold events like this.
You have 10
Currently,
seconds.
we had to cancel the event at the location that it was, and now it's at Route 9 Library. I need an explanation why. Thank you.
Thank you. And I believe our final public comment from our virtual community is Christina Kelly. Ms. Kelly?
Hi, Thank you so much for an opportunity to speak tonight, President Congo.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Please remember to introduce yourself, and I'll give you a friendly reminder at 30 seconds.
You got it. Hi, my name is Christina Kelly. I am speaking this evening to both second what Keandra McDowell just stated, and also to add my own concerns about these actions. While I understand that the Wilmington City Council may not be directly responsible for these actions, it is crucial to recognize that you hold an important oversight role in ensuring that entities who receive public funding do not infringe upon our rights. Again, twice in the last 13 months, events were interfered with or flat out prohibited based solely on their content. That raises serious legal and ethical concerns. Any entity receiving state or federal dollars is obligated to uphold the constitutional rights of citizens, including free speech and peaceful assembly. When these rights are suppressed, it not only violates the principles of our democracy, but also risks legal repercussions for both the entity involved and the city. As stewards of taxpayer dollars, this council has a responsibility to ensure that all entities under its purview respect and protect the rights of Wilmington's residents. I respectfully request that this council investigate these incidents and clarify what steps will be taken to prevent any further suppression of free speech. How will you ensure that organizations receiving public funds do not engage in actions that stifle the voices of those they are meant to serve? By addressing this issue, the council can reaffirm its commitment to protecting the constitutional rights of all citizens, fostering a community where difficult yet necessary conversations on issues like police reform can take place without fear of suppression. I urge you to take the necessary steps to safeguard free speech in Wilmington and to ensure that public funds are never used to silence the people. Thank you.
Thank you. In WITN, that was our final public comment virtually, correct? All right, thank you. At this time, we will move to legislative business. Just as a friendly reminder that pursuant to our rules, the sponsor is entitled to speak first and last. During debate, council members may speak twice for up to 5 minutes each time. Councilmember Darby.
Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 24-049, Agenda 0463, whereas as legislative
I move
representatives.
this resolution to be received, recorded, and filed and adopted by a yea and nay vote.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. The resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by a yea or nay vote on the question.
Yeah, so this resolution is to censor Councilmember Xanthia Oliver for more ethics violations. So this will be a second public reprimand in a calendar year, and also in violation of conflicts of interest in the city auditor's report. So I'm just going to give a little bit of background. So just to start off with what a censor is. So if you look up a definition of a censor is the expression of formal disapproval, right? We are saying that this actions of this city council person is unacceptable. Should not be tolerated, and we should be held to a higher standard. So the first censor that I did for Councilmember Oliver, when she first violated had an ethics complaint and the violation was confirmed, the resolution did not pass. There was a lack of accountability by city council during that matter. So the first ethics violation was $200K for $200K was given to Our Youth Inc. to get funding, and Councilmember Oliver, close relative, was actually the owner of Our Youth Inc. And she voted for them to have funds. And we also know during that council meeting, she said that she didn't know or didn't realize that. But I think it's really an excuse. And as a council person, you're supposed to read and lean on council leadership for any and understanding any connections you may have. And as a person who has a nonprofit and different businesses and connected in the community, I read it. And there are times that I did not partake in or ask questions and saying, hey, you know, my nonprofit has some dealings in this. I know I get funding from this entity. You know, I ask those questions, and I'm a first-year council person. And Councilmember Oliver's a second year. So I've only been here for 4 years. She's been here for 8 years. And I want to make it very clear that we have to do financial disclosure. So this isn't information that isn't told to us. Like, as a council person, when I came on to council, one of the first conversations was around ethics, around conflicts of interest. There's training, their courses on it. We have to do a financial disclosure. Literally, you have to write your whole life out. You have to write down if you have any debts, your spouse, your kids, all these things, like what board you sit on. You're supposed to be transparent. We're held to a different standard because we are council people. So what happened after the first ethics violation, what this resolution is about the second ethics violation. There's a second one, right? So with the second violation, there was a $610 check that was cut. We have discretionary funds, and Councilmember Oliver put it in her account. But when she was notified, it was reimbursed, but she deposited a check into her account. See, she also was a part of the East Side, East Side Civic Association. She sits on their board as a member and deposited checks for that organization. So that's like me I sit on the board, Black Girls Health Collective, knowing that Black Girls Health Collective got money and then endorsing the check and putting it into the account. It's wrong. That's something you just don't do as a city council person. There's no more education that can be given. I got it on my first term, within my first year, knowing that there's certain things you cannot do when you're a city council person, and there's questions you should ask. What was actually really concerning, that after this, there was actually a third violation. It wasn't an ethics complaint or anything. But what happened for me, which is like 3 times, like, come on, like, we got to do better here. There was a performance audit because of the issues that Councilmember Oliver had with violating the ethics and depositing a check into her account, and then also depositing checks to organizations she's a part of into their own accounts. The third violation came because now the city said, we're going to do an audit on city council grants. They didn't just do an audit for one city council. They did it for all of us, all 13 of us, right? So the report comes back. When the report comes back, it says Councilmember Oliver has several violations. And I was just like, when is it going to end? Like, when is this going to end? So with the violations, you found that Councilmember Oliver personally endorsed several checks for the Eastside Civic Association. And 4 out of the 8 checks reviewed were endorsed by the 3rd District Council person. Like, it has to be an end to this. There has to be accountability. Like, you cannot be complicit. There's a violation of public trust. You lose credibility this way. People already don't respect us. And then you have these things happening and people not holding other city council people accountable. And why was the holdup on this legislation?
So when the
recommendation, so this was on the agenda several times, but I took it off several times because I wanted it to line up with the recommended legislation. So after they found all the violations, they said that, hey, you guys should do the legislation that Councilmember Johnson is going to present tonight. So I was like, okay, that's perfect, but accountability still needs to happen. And then the excuse I got for the violations here was, it was COVID. It was COVID. All of us went through COVID. That's not an excuse.
Councilmember Spadola.
Thank you, Council President. I'm going to keep my remarks positive. I try to be very generous in my interpretations in terms of how to look at people's actions. And you could almost, the one I'm going to focus on that to me is unacceptable is the $600 10 check that was cashed into her own bank account. I can assure you, as a former police officer, people have been arrested for far less. And we shouldn't have a system where an elected official is able to not only escape the criminal justice system, but accountability from our own colleagues. To keep it positive, I support this because I do like Councilmember Oliver as a person. As you've said, you know you need to do better. We know you need to do better. I want you to do better. And so this is a way of saying that we're not going to enable you to continue to do this. And I do think the public deserves an explanation as to how you deposited a city check into your own bank account. And if there's a great explanation, I might not support this, but I would love to hear that explanation. Secondly, and I just want to get in front of these comments, the Ethics Commission is its own independent body. Just because they've issued a reprimand doesn't mean that we can't censure a colleague. There's nothing in the code that says we can't do that. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Fields.
Yes, thank you, Council President. It's just funny how people say that the community is looking at council as an overall as a joke, right? But it's a lot of foolishness going on. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to express my profound disappointment in recent decisions to sponsor a resolution to censor Councilwoman Oliver. While I acknowledge that Council Oliver has been reprimanded and has made past mistakes, it is important to recognize that she has taken responsibility for her actions and has considered to serve and engage her community with dedication. This matter has been addressed on several occasions, and the law department has not recommended further action. Therefore, I find it disheartening that the sponsor would choose to pursue this resolution, which appears to be more about policing our colleagues than about serving the best interests of our constituents. At a time when our focus should be on unity and collaboration for the betterment of our city. This action only serves to create division and distract from the important work we are here to do. I encourage the sponsor to reconsider this course of action and to join all of her other council colleagues working together to move our community forward.
Thank you. Councilmember Oliver.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I'm just going to address Councilman Spadola. If he would have called me because that check, that was an old issue. Speaking on the voting for a family member, that was when President Hanifa Shabazz was in office, and I think it was a conversation that Vash Turner had, and I guess the councilperson was there when he was talking about various things. So they chose to, get engaged with that. The $610 check had Z. Oliver on it. That's why the ethics did what they did. It was an error because it was COVID on the accounting department. So at the top of the check, it says Z. Oliver, which was for Danielle Covington for a church event at Price's Park. I had paid for the bandwagon. And her and I was having lunch for 2 weeks until I finally deposited with some other checks. And Marshall called and said it was deposited. And she knew we had been looking for that check for almost 3 weeks. So that's why that was deposited. I went and jeopardized my position for $610. Furthermore, I gained no money from everything that occurred during COVID. We could sit up here and say nothing happened during COVID. I would like to say that audit was not done for me. The audit was done because it was time to have an audit, forensic audit, and that was per Mr. Terrence Williams. It had nothing to do with Councilwoman Oliver. During that audit, they did make some changes throughout the whole city of Wilmington, the audit department, and the procurement department. That had nothing to do with Councilwoman Oliver, who gained nothing from any of this. But I met with the ethics committee. I talked to the law department. This issue has been addressed. This issue was old from 2000, and you can see how old it is. And that's all I have to say. And I have accepted my responsibility. I've talked to my constituents. I have over 200 signatures from the 3rd District of individuals who support me and the organizations that all of this money went to. All of the activities were at Kirkwood Street Park, and most of us were there. And the other one was down to the field, down to the, when we had the veterans event, and all of us was there. So all these were just activities, giveaways, Bernie's Water Ice, various events, and it was COVID and it was the 3rd district and things happened and, you know, I made my apology. I dealt with the ethics, the people who I'm supposed to deal with. And that's all I have to say. And I appreciate, you know, everybody who really understands what's going on and did see all the work that was done. And I'm going to continue to support my community, that is a impoverished community, that we are fixing up most of the vacancies and other things of that nature. But thank you anyway. I do accept my punishment, and I've said it over and over, and hopefully this will be an end to this tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Bracy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll keep my comments short. As we all did, I took an oath and pledged to be a steward and representative for all of Wilmington. This includes upholding our values and our Constitution and our city charter. By swearing that oath, I stepped into the shoes of a legend who worked for Wilmington tirelessly and valued plain speak. So tonight, I'm going to speak very plain. I do not in any way support unethical, immoral, or illegal actions by any elected official. I also do not support elected officials knowingly benefiting from conflicts of interest, holding grudges against colleagues, community members, staff members, intentionally trying to defame others' character, attacking anyone who doesn't agree, overt racism, ageism, and quite frankly, any other ism that does not reflect the level of decorum that we should uphold. Unfortunately, though, we are in a day and time where more and more behaviors like this in every level of government make it difficult for constituents to put their trust in government. I also believe that Councilwoman Oliver does not support immoral, unethical, or illegal actions and has very publicly already accepted accountability. She's already apologized. She's already been in the news. She's already taken the necessary steps to ensure that these incidents do not persist. My intention tonight is not to continue to beat the stick again and again and again over something that happened in 2022. I do think that we have to make sure that the city knows that we take these issues seriously and that we are going to do our part to make sure that these do not continue. One of my intentions will be to introduce a resolution to you, Mr. President, in the future that as the longest member on council and our president and our leader, to utilize funds to bring on a consultant to help update and standardize city council operations. We can all benefit from a more standardized onboarding, updated standard operating procedures for council members and staff formal training so that these types of issues do not happen in the public in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Harlee.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I don't need to echo what Councilmember Bracy just said, but she definitely expressed a number of my views as it relates to this whole topic and how it has played out. I want to say that there have been several resolutions placed on this council floor to censure council members in the past, and I have not supported them. And I didn't support them because I relied on the system that is supposed to look through these things and make these decisions as it related to whatever the quote unquote ethical situation was at the time. So this is not the first time. I have never supported that because there is a system and a process in place to address it. And as it has already been said, it has been addressed. The recommendations that was made in terms of this council to avoid these types of things, Councilmember Oliver took the course. I'm not sure that all council members took the course because, again, you know, I do clearly see that there's double standards. You know, on one hand, you want to reinforce, what's right in compliance, but then on another hand, when recommendations are made, all council members have not complied, and, no one has said anything about that. And then we have a social media policy that has been broken over and over and over again. And no one has said anything about that either. So when I think about this, I want to allow the proper authorities to handle it. I spoke with Councilmember Oliver. She knows that I don't support any unethical actions in any kind of way. She expressed her sincere apologies to me personally, and she has definitely shared it with the public. So I just want us to be consistent as a council in terms of the things that we point out, because I believe that the reputation that this council has gotten is over a lot of social media negativity that has been very vitriolic towards this council and not just the actions of one council member. So I don't support unethical processes, and we do have new procedures in place that we have already begun to use to avoid this type of action happening again. So I will not be supporting it for that reason. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilmember Cabrera. Councilmember Cabrera, I believe you might be muted, but I see you had your hand up. On WITN, is Councilmember Cabrera muted? Are you able to?
I'm here. I'm sorry. I kept hitting the button and it wasn't working.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I just wanted to echo, I think Councilwoman Bracy said it very eloquently. And yes, I think that there's more safeguards and things that need to be put in place, and I do support that. My only concern, I mean, just looking at this, yes, I understand it happened when it happened. I understand that there was a standard review. It wasn't like it was specifically done for this, and these discrepancies came up. Now, this legislation was before us earlier this year. It was held. We were told it's because other things were coming out. Whatever it is, I'm just going to say that for me, it just looks suspect that this is coming out when it's coming out. And if we were going to do this, it should have been done early on. And I also feel that if anybody should be putting forth legislation or anything to censure any member of council, it should be the leadership, being the president versus a council member who has their own discrepancies in behavior. So that's what I'm going to say, and I'm not supporting this. For those reasons, not because I believe that we should be allowed to do things that are unethical, but I understand that mistakes could be made. And you're right, yeah, it's a second-term council member. They should know better. But I understand that maybe it was a mistake of the mind, of the heart, not of the mind. But I'm not supporting it simply because of the way that this has come about. To me, it's suspect and don't like it. Don't like it, and don't like that we are doing this as council members to each other when we should have one united front, regardless of our differences. This should have came from you, Mr. President, not from a council member, even though we all have the right to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will also speak. One of the members from the public who spoke during public comment, he kind of hit the nail on the head for me when he said that sometimes we have to have those difficult but necessary conversations, and this is definitely one of them for me. I have been friends with Councilmember Oliver for decades, but this goes beyond friendship. This speaks just to our responsibility. And me as the president, it has been mentioned several times that I'm the leader, but I believe that we are all leaders and that we all have to hold each other accountable, and that we all have to make sure that the public trusts us as a body and as individuals. And for me, it's not about the sponsor or about Councilmember Oliver. If we take both names away, you take both faces away, I think we have to be able to speak and to vote on just the merit of the legislation. So I'm not going to get wrapped up in who is sponsoring it and who is it's targeted for. I'm just going on the legislation itself, and it is something that is very unfortunate. It is something that it puts a spotlight and an unwanted spotlight on us as a council. And I think it is our responsibility to address it as a council. So I do, I give Councilmember Darby her props, honestly, for bringing it up. I believe that she would have done that if it were me and if it were anybody else on council. I don't think that she has anything against any member on here, honestly. I think that she is a person who is going to call, as they say, call a spade, and it's unfortunate that some of us are getting caught up on, I guess the parties that are involved instead of the merit of the legislation. So I will be supporting it. I do consider myself a leader, but I consider all of us leaders, not because I'm the president, but because just based on the merit of the legislation, I think that it is necessary that the public knows that that we don't take this lightly and that we are not giving any passage just because of friendship or any other type of relationships that we have on council. I think that's what happens to us in politics. We go in for the correct reasons and then we get kind of caught up in relationships, and I think that's where a lot of the community sees politics as not favorable as it should, because we just get caught up in relationships and we let that kind of interfere in our duties. Not a very easy decision at all, but I think it's a necessary one for me to support this legislation. And if there are no other comments, I will return back to the Councilmember Fields.
Yes, I just want to thank Councilmember Harlee and Councilwoman Bracy for saying it's not one council member that the city of Wilmington is looking at when it comes to council and people judging council. It is other council members that are putting us in a bad position to whereas it's on social media and they talk about their council members in a disheartening, discouraging, and disrespectful way. And that is what's brought to our attentions as council members. While we're out there serving our communities, they talk about that. They don't talk about whatever another council member did as far as funds. They're talking about what they see on social media. So if we're going, like you said, we're going to call a spade, people should not throw rocks when they live in a glass house. Thank you.
Thank you. And before we go to the sponsor, I believe that it's our responsibility as a council that if you feel that way about other council members, that we bring it up and we talk about it and not avoid the issue. But again, I don't want to go tick for tack or back and forth, but I just believe that if a council member brings something to the table, we as council members have to vote on it on its own merit and just not get caught up in who the parties are. Council Member Harlee.
Thank
for your
you.
second round.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate those comments, but again, as it relates to us addressing the reputation of this council, we need to address social media policy. There is one, and we need to be
All due respect,
compliant.
we're not speaking on that right now.
I know we're not.
Just speak to the legislation, please.
It was mentioned, so
Yes.
the reputation, but I respect what you have to say.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
Any other council members before we return to the sponsor? Councilmember Darby.
Yes, thank you. So you had said a few things, but I just want to reiterate. So if anyone has a problem with anything I do, you can make a request to write a resolution to send to me, just like I would do for anybody on city council, all 12 of y'all. I really don't care who feelings are hurt. You'll never have me voting for me to give money to my family members. You will never have or see me put money into my account. You would never have me have a violation with my money. Those are things that you will never find about me. So this is not about liking anybody or friends. I really don't think about any of you guys out of here. I would have put up the resolution for anybody. So nothing about this council has been about unity and collaboration since day one. Y'all saw what y'all did to President Congo. So y'all yell unity and collaboration when it's only beneficial to you. So the community sees right through y'all. So I'm not reconsidering anything. I work for the community, not the establishment or anyone on council. So the end of this will come when you stop violating. You act like you didn't bring it upon yourself. You act like I brought up the ethics violation. No, I did it. So you cannot tell. Then another thing, no one can't tell me when I should or not do anything. Y'all can't. And where in the law does it say I cannot do it? So I really don't care about your opinion on when it should have been done or who should have did it. So I want y'all all to know that. So the report for the audit was accelerated because of Councilmember Oliver's action. So I need that to be very clear. It was accelerated. It was scheduled, but they did it quicker because of her actions. Staff requested it because of her actions. So I need that to be very clear. So, like I said, if you have a problem with anything I do, then put up a censor and a resolution and do what you gotta do.
Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman White,
That's why we on TV now.
Councilwoman Darby,
Yep, yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
No.
Councilwoman Harlee,
No.
Councilwoman Fields,
No.
Councilwoman McCoy,
No.
Councilman Field,
No.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
No.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy.
No. No.
President Congo.
Yes.
8 nays, 3 yeas, and 2 absent.
Declare defeated.
Mr.
Councilmember,
President.
yes,
Oh,
Councilmember Darby, you may continue.
Yeah, Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 24040, Agenda 0464, an ordinance to amend Chapter 45 of the City Code to authorize a water affordability assessment. First reading.
First reading of the ordinance.
Thank you. An ordinance to amend Chapter 45 of the City Code to authorize a water affordability assessment.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Is there a second? A second. It's been properly moved and second that this be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 24041, Agenda 0465, an ordinance to amend Chapter 4 of the City Code implementing stricter security and safety standards for firearms retail stores.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 4 of the City Code implementing stricter security and safety standards for firearms retail stores.
Mr. President.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the Public Safety Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance
Mr. President, I have an ordinance. Oh.
and refer to the Public Safety Committee.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 24042, Agenda 0466, an ordinance to amend Chapter 36 of the City Code to prohibit firearms, components of firearms, ammunitions, or explosives from city buildings and police stations.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 36 of the City Code to prohibit firearms, components of firearms, ammunition, or explosives from city buildings and police stations.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the Public Safety Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Public Safety Committee. Councilmember Oliver.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 24043, Agenda 0467, an ordinance to amend Chapter 40 of the City Code regarding the annual shoe allowance for safety shoes.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 40 of the City Code regarding the annual shoe allowance for safety shoes.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I let this be known to be the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second, that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Finance and Economic Development Committee. Councilmember Harlee presenting on behalf of Councilmember Johnson.
Yes, Mr. President. I have an ordinance, as you said, to present and call for the first and second reading on behalf of Councilmember Johnson.
Ordinance 24-044, Agenda 0468, an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to restrict elected officials' grant fund usage if Wilmington Ethics Commission substantiates allegations of financial ethic violations against them.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to restrict elected officials' grant fund usage if Wilmington Ethics Commission substantiates allegations of financial ethics violation against them.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that it be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second, that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Mr. President, I have another ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 24-045, Agenda 0469, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of the City General Obligation Bond, Water Distribution and Transmission Improvements, Lead Removal Phase 2 Project, Series C of 2024 DWSRF, in order to provide the funds necessary for the continuing replacement of water mains in city's distribution system, providing for the sale of the 2024 C bond to the Delaware Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, and authorizing other necessary action.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance authorizing the issuance of the city's general obligation bond, water distribution and transmission improvements, lead removal phase 2 project, Series C of 2024 DWSRF, in order to provide the funds necessary for the continuing replacements of water mains in city distribution system, providing for the sale of the 2024 C bond to the Delaware Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, and authorizing other necessary action.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that it be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the Finance and Economic Development Committee. I have another.
This needs to be second.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second, that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
I have one last ordinance to present, Mr. President, and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 24-046, Agenda 0470, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of the city's general obligation bond, 11th Street Sewage Pump Station Replacement Upgrade Screening Project, Series B of 2024 WPCRF, in order to provide the funds necessary for the replacement of a screen at the city's 11th Street Sewage Pump Station, providing for the sale of the 2024 B bond to the Delaware Water Pollution Control Revolving Fund, and authorizing other necessary action.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance authorizing the issuance of the city's general obligation bond, 11th Street Sewage Pump Station Replacement Upgrade Screening Project, Series B of 2024 WPCRF, in order to provide the funds necessary for the replacement of a screen at the city's 11th Street Sewage Pump Station, providing for the sale of the 2024 bond to the Delaware Water Pollution Control Revolving Fund, and authorizing other necessary action.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that it be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second, that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilmember Cabrera.
Mr. President, I will be holding agenda item number 0471 this evening.
All right, thank you. At this time, we will move to petitions and communications. Councilmember White. Thank you. Councilmember Darby.
Nothing at this time. May I be excused?
Yes, you may.
Thank you.
Councilmember Harlee.
Yes, Mr. President, I want to announce that on Saturday, August the 31st, from 12 to 3, I will be partnering with a number of organizations to have a back-to-school block party and free giveaway on 12th and French at the Community Education Building. Some of those partners will be the Delaware Blue Coats, and along with the Delaware State University alumni. So again, it's going to be a back to school block party. We're going to have free giveaways, book bags, and just I want to encourage everyone to come out and have fun. And again, it's Saturday, August the 31st from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. on 12th and French at the Education Building. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Member Fields.
Thank you, Council President. Yes, I have. First of all, I would like to say that today was an awesome day at the Helen Chambers Park. I would like to thank the Department of Justice. I would like to thank Parks and Recreation, William Hicks Anderson Community Center, and we had a individual that is from Wilmington. Her celebrity name is Suki Hana, but her real name is Destiny Henderson, and she came through and supported her community that she grew up in. She grew up right on the 4th Street in West Center City, and she gave book bags, she took pictures, she signed book bags, and she said some encouraging words to the kids. So, I just like to thank all organizations, and it wasn't just about giving away book bags, it was a resource fair as well. So they had people, they had the police there, they had what is it called, the veterans there, they gave away book bags, AstraZeneca, we had DHSS, we had other entity, we had hair cutting, hair braiding, we had free food, we had water ice, we had water slides. So that was the first kickoff for back to school. And I would like to thank everyone that participated and for allowing me to be a part of that as well. I do have there are some events coming up this coming week. So on tomorrow, there is tomorrow, free home buyer workshop, access NACA's Best in American Mortgage. The first step towards home ownership, Saturday, August the 24th, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at William Hicks Anderson Community Center, 501 North Madison Street, Wilmington, Delaware. To sign up, you can go to www.naca.com, or you can call 425-602-6222. Also, we have another one coming up on the 26th, which is Monday, and that is the Stand By Me and the City of Wilmington presents Home Ownership Forum. And thank you, Councilwoman Oliver, for doing it first over there on the east side. And I heard you had a great turnout, and people ended up purchasing their homes through this particular program that you had. So yeah, I copycat it because I want them to come over West Center City.
That's what it's about.
So August the 26th, which is Monday the August the 26th, 2024, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., William Hicks Anderson Community Center, 501 North Madison Street. Come see homes which are and will be available for purchase. The thing about this is your credit score must be 640 and above, and I believe you have to have at least $1,000 in your bank account to participate. And my quote for today: don't do today what should be done. Your tomorrow may never come. Today is the pupil of yesterday. Each day of your life, as soon as you open your eyes in the morning, you can square away for a successful and happy day.
Thank you, and I apologize. I skipped over you, Councilwoman Oliver. So please, at this time, your petitions and communications.
I was going to say, darn, he's really taking this serious. No, I'm just joking. I would like to make two announcements. Tomorrow, Northside for Life is having their event at the Powell Center. It normally is held at Brown Burton Winchester Park, but they switched it to the Powell Center, which is from 7 until midnight tomorrow. I know a lot of council members did make a donation to that event, so I just wanted to give y'all the location, that it has switched, and they asked me to inform y'all regarding the change. Secondly, we have the Free Third District 4th Annual Millie Cannon Summer Event at Brown Burton Winchester Park. Price's Park, everyone, a lot of people know Price's Park. That's at 26 and Locust Side. We will have Best Kept Soul at 12 o'clock noon, and they were starting on time because they have another gig. We have Barbara Walker, Tony Smith, Philadelphia Intruders, the Blue Notes, and Urban Gorilla. And I'd like to thank Mayor Mike Przicki. I'd like to thank President Trippy Congo. I'd like to thank Council Member Chris Johnson. I'd like to thank Council Member Latrice Bracey, Council Member Vince White, Council Member Maria Cabrera, and Council Member Al Mills. And I would like to thank Council Member Harlee and McCoy for always supporting all my events, but I told them I was targeting the at-large people so y'all can save y'all money. But it is going to be at Brown Burton Sunday. Unfortunately, normally we have it on a Saturday, but something got mixed up. And it's unfortunate I'm having it the same day that August Quarterly is occurring. So I'm going to try to go to the early services August Quarterly to support them. But I must be at Price's Park to see Heat Wave. So President Congo, we do have you to speak. I know you're a busy man, but hopefully you'll stop by.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Councilmember McCoy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Actually, I don't have anything going on in my district at this very moment. We have been definitely finishing up the last of the ring installment of the Ring cameras and getting the block captain thing formed up. So that's been very exciting. But the thing that I wanted to make certain we pointed to was the 210th anniversary of the August Quarterly, which was founded by Peter Spencer and William Anderson. This event goes on for a full week. It always comes to a big event on the weekend at the Tubman Garrett Park, and I do hope we'll get a chance to see everyone there, and also maybe spend some time down at Xanthia's event. I'm sorry, Councilman Oliver's event. That'll be all.
Good. All right, thank you. Councilmember Field.
Nothing to add tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilmember Cabrera.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to start out with the Carnaval, the Caribbean Carnaval that is taking place on Saturday. It's going to start as a procession on Market Street. It's going to go down Market Street. So everything that you see, imagine Mardi Gras, all the costumes, the feathers, the colors, the music, the vibrancy of what is celebrated during Carnaval. This will be right downtown on Market Street on Saturday. The procession starts at noon and it's going to culminate at Rodney Square. There will be food, vendors, concerts, just a wonderful family event for everyone to come out and celebrate all the different cultures of the Caribbean, which of course Puerto Rico is in the Caribbean, as is Dominican, Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, all those different islands, and I'm sure that it will be quite the spectacle. As Council Member McCoy already mentioned, this has been a week-long celebration of the August Quarterly, and that is the oldest African-American celebration in the nation. So I'm going to give you some details. On Saturday, the concerts will take place at Tubman Garrett Park, beginning at noon. On Saturday, on Sunday, there is the church service, which kicks off the event for Sunday. And then at 1 p.m., we go back to Tubman Garrett Park, where you will get to listen to local musicians as well as recognized names in gospel music and just a positive message. Again, celebrating what was started with Reverend Peter Spencer. As we know, our city council sits on hollow ground. Right across the street is his grave. Before these buildings were built, that is where the mother church resided. So I hope that people come out and join in this historical event. There is also another activity there's a lot going on this weekend. I'm not sure for how we're gonna maybe we can splice ourselves to get out there. But Roberto Clemente League on Saturday, August 24th is also doing a back to school supplies event, and that's from 1 to 4 p.m. at Woodlawn Park, which is on West 4th Street, right before Green Hill Avenue. And it's going to take place from 1 to 4 p.m. And it's also sponsored by Nuestras Raíces. So bring out the kids. They're going to have a moon bounce, family fun, food, and DJ Castro. And that will be on Saturday, the 24th at Woodlawn Park. All right. And school will be starting, I believe, next week. So everyone, again, pay attention. Children are going to be out there. Do not speed through our city. There will be kids at bus stops and the buses will be out. So please do not tailgate. Let's keep our children safe. Let's keep people in the community safe. But back to school is around the corner. That'll be all. Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues.
Thank you. Council Member Spadola.
Nothing tonight, Council President.
Thank you. Council Member Bracy.
Nothing today.
All right, thank you. And on behalf of all of us here at our City Council, I just want to thank everyone who has joined us virtually and those who are in council chambers with us. Thank you to the staff. Thank you to WITN. As always, if you ever want to be a part of our meetings, we have them every first and third Thursday, but because of the break that we just returned from, we will have council meetings for the next 2 Thursdays. So again, please come down to 800 North French Street if you can make it. If not, you can always join us virtually for the next 2 Thursdays at 6:30 for our council meetings. And if any of us can help you in any way, please call our office at 302-576-2140. Again, our number is 302-576-2140. And with that, I will accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
It's been second, and all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.